Cloudcast Media.
Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, and we are so pleased to have this venerable group in the studio with us. Our friends from San Diego Rotary Club 33. Michael Brunker is the president. Full disclosure, Michael and I have been longtime friends and colleagues for, well, too long to say over here, but it's all been good. How you doing, Michael?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm doing fine. You look great over here. You're joined by your President-Elect Mia Harenski. She's a CPA, and she'll be following you with this iconic group. How you doing, Mia?
Great. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. Joined by my co-host, Kristen Fogel. She is the executive director of San Diego Writers, Inc. They are celebrating their 20th anniversary this year. A lot of cool things going on in Liberty Station. And Kristen, let's get right to it.
Let's get right to it. So someone tell me a little bit about the Rotary, just what your mission is to start.
Well, the Rotary has been around since 1905. It began in Chicago. Paul Harris founded it with a group of leaders in that community of like mind who came together simply to really address issues in the community and, more importantly, build long-time lasting relationships. And so San Diego Rotary began 113 years ago here in San Diego. I'm the 113th president of the 10th largest and 33rd oldest Rotary Club in the world.
That's amazing.
Yes.
Yeah. Congrats on all your good work. So Mia, you're coming in. How long have you been with the Rotary?
I've been in Rotary for 12 years.
Excellent.
And I grew up in Rotary. My grandfather was Rotarian, so I've always known that I would join Rotary. I didn't think I'd be quite as young as I was at the time. But when I got the opportunity to join this amazing club with such amazing leaders in our community, I jumped at the chance.
That's great. Someone take me through kind of the individual facets of the organization. What do you do? How does one Rotary, if we make a verb out of it?
Rotary is service before self, very simply. And so in this community right now, our club is over 400 members.
Wow.
And we have 70 committees that really do a variety of things, from youth to seniors to build camp enterprise, teach young people how to develop leadership skills in a variety of areas right now. But really, it's in San Diego Rotary, our club founded so many of the nonprofits in this town, including Kiwanis, Lions, and others as well. So a club that began back in 1905, in Chicago, and then 11 years later came into San Diego, has been doing great things ever since.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many areas that you folks touch that you and I have come across our paths with it, youth, sports, athletics, literacy, and everything in between, Michael, on this. And I'll start with you on Michael, and you can jump in it too, Mia. It's got to be so rewarding to see, because you're a data guy, you like to see impact, you like to see results. Talk about how important that is with the Rotary.
Well, Paul Harris said, too, that, we're going to be judged by what we do. It's not about what we say we're going to do. And so oftentimes you hear folks talk about doing something. In Rotary, people are doers. They do it. We just completed a Rotarians at Work Day, and we were in 8 different locations just doing great work, from the flood relief down at Southeast San Diego to going, cleaning up the reefs and the gravestones at Fort Rosecrans. So a variety of things that are happening, but the impact is critical. But it's not just what we've been doing. We also explore, too, what else we need to be doing into the future. And there's so many opportunities for us to do more.
Yeah, and I think, Mia, that's something that is in the DNA of all Rotarians I know, and I'm sure in your world as well. What can we do? What's next? What's innovative? What's creative? Talk about that.
Yes, we're always looking at new opportunities, and we're just finished our strategic plan for our club, where we can figure out how we can make an even bigger impact in our community, and then also not just in the community, but for our members. The world is having this loneliness epidemic right now. And being in a club with 400 people that you can make friends and meet different people that you would normally not meet is really important for all ages, but more importantly, the elders in our club.
Right. I want to talk about that for a second before I turn it back over to Kristen. is that do you folks, and you can start on this, Mia, and then you can add to it, Michael. Do you work with other groups in the community? And I know you work with pretty much everybody, whether it's other Rotary groups or other service clubs, or it's with the Chamber or EDC, and you guys are linked to almost everybody on that aspect. Do you see, hey, here is a need that we need to look at? You mentioned loneliness, and that is a huge thing with seniors these days. And of course, the highest population that's becoming homeless these days are seniors. How do you find out about here is the greatest need? What do you guys do?
The great thing with 400 members, they're always bringing us new ideas, and everyone in our club is usually involved in another board. We did a survey recently, and most of our members are in 2.5 other boards, and they're leaders of other communities. And so we're hearing about those needs from our members, and then we do an analysis to see if it fits in with what we can do, and decide if there's enough, urgency for that, and then we always need to find a leader to take it on and run with it.
Right, exactly. Well, you talk about a poster child for that, and that's my good friend Michael Brunker. Certainly done so many great things in this community. Started with Oceanside Pal, if I'm not mistaken, Michael, and then went as was that before your Smoky Gaines or after? What was that?
Well, I came out here in 1980 to coach basketball at San Diego State, as you know. So from 80 to 87, then left coaching, and then started the San Diego Regional Police Athletic League, and then went on to the Jackie Robinson YMCA. But in this term of mine, when you talk about doing more,
right,
my whole theme this year was reimagine Rotary. Just looking at what are we doing? Is it really relevant? What more can we do to improve on it? And are there other things that we should be doing? And so as you look at this, we had a program yesterday, and we had the U.S. Attorney's Office come in and talk about the fentanyl and the opioid epidemic that's going on right now. And before that program came, I received an email from a member of our club who talked about her experience with her son who overdosed.
Oh, my goodness.
And so here's a club of leaders that you would never suspect anything like that would be happening in our organization. Yeah. And she came and let that be known. And I shared that email with our whole membership. They addressed her yesterday to make it real. After the meeting, there were other members that said their children have gone through the same thing. So it's the need is there. We're not doing anything in that area right now, but the challenge to our club right now is what more can we do to address that if this truly is something we should be concerned with.
Well, listen, you can't help but open up a newspaper or listen to a TV show or radio to know that fentanyl is a scourge that we've never seen before. It's real. It's impacting a lot of folks on this. Kristen?
Yeah, I'm wondering this Rotary 4-way test, how that kind of plays into your strategic planning or helps kind of guide the organization forward.
It is it's an amazing test, but here's the crux. So the 4-way test is great, and I think it starts with number 1, is it the truth? Number 2, is it fair to all concerned? Number 3, will it build goodwill and better friendships? And number 4, will it be beneficial to all concerned? But it's not about me evaluating you. It's about me and everything that I say, think, and do with my head, my heart, my hands, and my habits. Am I doing those 4 things? Yeah. And just imagine if everybody did that.
Absolutely. I was like, this is not a guide for a club. This is like an internal guide.
Oh, yes.
It's a guide for life, for God's sake. And you're right. There's so much to be said about that. When you come back from break, I want to continue on that topic all. And then one of the favorites is talk about Mr. and Mrs. San Diego. It's been a very sort of an iconic award that you have given out. You and I, you were the recipient of one of those, were you not, Michael?
I was.
I know you were. That's quite an honor on this. And of course, a lot of the colleagues that you and I have worked with. We'll talk a bit about Pete Seidler, who got his. I think got his posthumously, if I'm not mistaken, on that as well. And then, Michael, you've been on the show before. We always save time in the second half to what our listeners can do to continue to support the great work of the Rotary. When we come right back with Michael Brunker, president of San Diego Rotary Club 33, joined by his colleague, the incoming President-Elect Mia Harenski. I'm Drew Schlosberg. As you are listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, we are the nation's longest-running community podcast. We're now in our 18th year, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union for 6 decades, doing great things in San Diego County. We will be right back.
When you do your banking with Mission Fed, you get great rates on auto and home loans. That's good for you. But something good also happens for a lot of other people. We're not for profit, so we put money back into the community to help lots of great nonprofits to keep San Diego strong. So you're not just getting something good, you're doing something good. Come to Mission Fed. It's banking that's good for all.
Brand amplification is the DNA of Cloudcast Media, and our code is the powerful blending of sound, voice, and storytelling to lift local brands and their communities. Whether it is our Brandcast, Schoolcast, or Causecast platforms, the unifying ethos is all about this community, the one you call home. If you dare to dream and want to explore the brand amplification of Cloudcast, a national leader in local podcasting and other Winfluence strategies, please visit us at cloudcast.us.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, and we are right back with another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. We are the nation's longest-running community podcast, now in our 18th year, joined by our cool friends from San Diego Rotary Club 33, Michael Brunker, who is the current president, joined by his president-elect, Mia Harenski, joined by my colleague, Kristen Fogel. She is the executive director of San Diego Writers, Inc., celebrating their 20th anniversary this year in Liberty Station. We'll start with you on this, Mia, or we toss to Mike. I'll let you guys decide. Talk about Mr. and Mrs. San Diego.
I'll let Michael talk about it since he's a Mr. San Diego and he led it so well this year.
Yeah, this award's been going on now for 72 years. And so it began way back when, before it wasn't a Rotary program in the beginning. It began when a group of business people just came around and gave out an award to somebody that was doing something relevant. And the first recipient was a guy who was a business owner who was sending out postcards around the country inviting people to come to San Diego because of the wonderful weather.
That is fantastic.
Eventually it turned around where San Diego Rotary picked it up. And as you mentioned earlier, the list is long, and the people that have been recognized over years is fantastic. But our most recent recipient was the late Peter Seidler. We know the past, he's president of the San Diego Padres, and he's the only person that's been awarded this posthumously. But I do want to say that he was informed before he did get called to be with the Lord. So he was excited about it. We wish he could have been there. But it was a great program, Mia. What do you think?
It was a great program. One of the better ones, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. So we had representatives from the Padres, his family, his wife Sheila came and spoke. And what she really talked about, too, was the importance of kindness. And I think that resonated real strongly with all of the members that were in attendance.
Yeah, it's interesting. As Michael knows, I was honored in my 25 years working with the Union Tribune to work with Herb Klein. And Herb certainly was heavily involved in almost everything. At touch points, I think Herb was a Mr. San Diego. I'd be surprised if he wasn't. I could be wrong on that. Malin Burnhams and all that business and so forth. And I think it's really important to recognize, Michael doesn't do it to get that award. He does it because it's a great thing to do for whether it's the YMCA or whatever the case may be, and the same with all of them. And I think that's one of the things that's so impressive about the Rotary Club. They're not doing it for their individual recognition. They're doing it because it does some great stuff. Talk to that, Mia.
Yeah, we absolutely have members who don't get a lot of recognition. They don't get a lot of what we call podium time, but they're doing a lot of work behind the scenes. And being in leadership, I've been able to see that work that they're doing much more than I was before I was in leadership. I get emails daily about all the work that they're getting done. And I thought when I first started getting all those emails that I would be overwhelmed with them because I have a day job and I have kids and activities. But honestly, I was inspired on a daily basis by seeing all the work that people are doing selfishly that have busy jobs or are retired and they're spending their retirement doing this work for the community. For example, we have a STEM committee in San Diego Rotary Club. And if it weren't for that STEM committee, kids in City Heights probably wouldn't be introduced to STEM in a really interesting way outside of the classroom. Things that my own kids who went through Scripps Ranch schools, we just took that for granted. And if we didn't have that committee, those students wouldn't have that opportunity.
Absolutely. Kristen?
Yeah, let's talk a little bit more. I think you've both kind of touched on this, the Reimagine San Diego Rotary strategic plan. So what does that look like? What are some facets that came out of that process?
What was really great about it, and I'll let Michael talk about it as well, but we really surveyed the membership. We did surveys, online surveys. We interviewed people in person. So we really got to hear what our members want directly from them. And then we met several times, the task force, and hashed out, where it is we should go, what we're already doing right, and which is a lot of great things are going on in our club. But what can we fine tune and what can we do better?
Excellent.
And it also included as well the community needs, because right now our club is an old club. It's been around for a long time, and we think we're good. We know we're good, but are there other issues that we as a big club should be addressing? And this is what the interviews came from. We have past presidents been interviewed. We have members of our club who are, Mark Stewart is the CEO and president of the San Diego Foundation. We got Chris Sitchell now, who's on the Conrad Prebys Foundation. They do community needs assessments. They know what's going on, and we were able to tap in and lean into them and really get the feedback to let us know what's necessary that we should be looking at going into the future. But what's really cool about this one is this strategic plan isn't going to end in my year. It's going to continue for the next 3 presidential terms that are coming up right now.
Right, exactly. So how many members do you have? 400, you were saying?
Over 400, yes.
How does one become a member?
You are invited to a meeting by a member, and hopefully you enjoy the meeting and the program that we have. And then we have application process and then an approval process, and you join the club. And then we have a sort of onboarding process so that the person can get really involved right away and just really enjoy the benefits as soon as possible in our club.
Right.
Drew, it sounds like you're interested. And so
Drew really wants to serve on a committee, actually.
We brought an application for you.
He does, Drew, because we could use a podcaster in our club right now. But let me tell you how it happens. Somebody asked me that same question. How do you become a member of Rotary? And usually the big reason is because you were asked, just like Mia said. So our members at 400 strong, if they ask somebody to come and join or come to a meeting and check it out and see what it's all about, 9 times out of 10, they join. And so the key is right now is, would you recommend San Diego Rotary to a colleague or friend? That's the question we ask our membership constantly. And so invite somebody to come. But you can be listening to this podcast.
Right.
And you can go online and look up San Diego Rotary. But also remember, too, it doesn't necessarily need to be San Diego Rotary Club 33. There's 64 Rotary clubs in District 5340. We'd like everybody to really seriously look at Rotary and understand, in our terms, it's Interact, Rotaract, Rotary. So there's high school groups, just like key clubs for Kiwanis and Lions Club, Leo clubs. But there's Interact clubs in high schools that Mia is very involved with. There's also Rotaract clubs at San Diego State and in City Heights, Rotary clubs all throughout this county. But right now, the key is there's a lot of opportunities for you to get engaged and check us out.
I think something that's important about this, and Kristen, you and I have talked about it quite a bit on the show here, and again, Rotary Club is sort of a poster child for it. But, when I tell people, join a service group, whatever it may be, and Rotary's a little bit different, though, because there is a commitment to once you join it, I get that. But when I tell people you will get so much out of giving and volunteering that if you've never done it before is just absolutely so rewarding. Talk about that, Mia.
Absolutely. Sometimes I feel selfish by how good I feel after I do a project or I help a particular student that I'm mentoring. And it's not just about them, and it's about me and my own self, and also introducing my kids to service. I think it's important for them to see that it's not all about them and it's not all about our life at home, but for me to spend my time helping others and forwarding the Rotary values.
And Mia is so humble, but she's got a Rotary story that she could tell that goes beyond what she's talking about right now. Mia, share some of your stories.
Please. Thanks, Michael.
So as I mentioned, my grandfather was in Rotary and he was very involved. He was president of his club. He traveled to Rotary international conventions, multiple conventions, and met people from all around the world. He hosted Rotary Youth Exchange students, something I'm very passionate about as well. And he helped form a club in Mexico. And I was very lucky to be introduced to Rotary through that. He brought me to meetings and service projects. I got to meet the people that came to visit him from around the world. And like I said, I knew I'd be a Rotarian. I didn't think I'd be 32 and 8 months pregnant at the time, and with a kid already at home. But I jumped the chance when I got it, and people ask me why I did it, and it's just because I had the opportunity. And once you're in a club like ours, and you get that the good feeling, and that you get to meet all the amazing people, there's no going back after that.
And on Wednesday, she's got a big trip because Rotary International. Keep in mind, Rotary is not just San Diego County.
Oh, of course.
It's international. So when we talk about being the 10th largest club in the world, there's 34,000 clubs throughout the world.
Wow.
And Mia's going to Singapore on Wednesday to go to the Rotary International Convention. I went to Melbourne last year in Australia. It's mind-blowing to see the impact of Rotary globally and the projects that are available to do, not only for us in San Diego, but we have international projects that Mia can talk about that are doing God's work everywhere.
Yes, we have a hospital that we help support in Uganda, and we're still supporting. We help with water projects all around Africa. We have microloan programs in South America, and the list goes on and on of the support that we give Rotary clubs in other parts of the world.
Well, and I think what's so important about this, again, things that Chris and I talk about all the time, and both you folks are just absolute poster children for this. And Michael, you and your whole career since you came to San Diego 44 years ago, is you may be helping that one kid or that one adult, but the tentacles are huge. Because not only is that kid being helped by you folks, so is their siblings, so are their parents, so are their aunts and uncles, and so forth. So I'll start with you on this, Michael, and then pivot over to Mia. Talk about how the far reach of it is. You may help this group, but here are the tentacles that go with it.
And the interesting thing is you never know if you're really making that impact.
Right.
Until they come back and let you know.
Right.
So they may come back and maybe send you a note or drop you an email. Or they'll come back or they'll see you. And Mia could tell you a story about a meeting we just had recently at a restaurant in Seaport Village. Mia, you remember that?
I do. It was great. So we were having lunch with some other Rotarians from other clubs, and the server came up to us, a nice young man, and he goes, "I love Rotary." That's the first thing he said to us. Well, Michael was wearing his Rotary jacket, of course, and the young man goes on to say that he met his girlfriend at UCLA, and they had already graduated, and that his girlfriend's life was changed because of Rotary. She was part of a Cardinals Interact program. It's the Interact program at Hoover High, which I've been very involved in. It helped her get through high school and get into college. This Rotary Club had given her a scholarship in college all through all 4 years, and it also sent her to Europe on Rotary Youth Exchange. So little did he know he was talking to the club who did all of that for her. And this kid didn't know that. He took our picture as if we were celebrities. And honestly, it made everyone at the table tear up. Just to know that this impacted her and also that young man. And he said that they're going to go on and to do amazing things because of Rotary.
I love that so much. And you talk about the tentacles, and you never really know until you know. But also, for those of us that have kids and are involved in service, that is a tentacle we get to see right away. My kid always asks me, like, why are we going to the school? Why are we helping with this thing? Because we're very involved in a school. And I'm like, because this is what we do. That's always my response, because that's what we do. We do acts of service. That's just how it is. So
absolutely,
the impact on our kids and the youth around us is kind of that immediate tentacle to foster that sort of value, in the next generation.
Yes.
Yeah, without question. Michael, and you can jump on this too, Mia. What can our listeners do to continue to support the phenomenal work of Rotary Club 33?
I think the biggest thing they can do right now is understand that we need more people involved in, as you mentioned earlier, in service. It could be Rotary, it could be a service organization, it could be getting involved in your children's clubs. And Drew, you've been involved with Classrooms of the Future forever, and so many other nonprofits that you've had interviewed here right now. But if everybody had more people engaged, really engaged, so the time, treasure, and talent, then that's a statement. And now when it comes to Rotary, there's a lot we can do. If you go to Rotary.org and you just look at the global impact of Rotary, you might be infatuated with doing something overseas, or you might want to do something in your own backyard, but you don't need to be a Rotarian to join any of our committees to do service. You can volunteer. When we had groups go out for Rotarians at Workday, we had family members come. We had others folks that they're not members of our club. We had the children of the Rotarians come do the same thing. But it's that modeling. And if everybody talked about doing more for others, I think it could be more impactful for the whole San Diego region.
Without question, without Mia, what do you think?
All that Michael said and more. Just getting involved will just pay dividends way beyond the time that you spend or the money that you give or the talent that you give. And I found that in my own life, even though I have a busy career and busy family life. It instead of making me more tired and overwhelmed, it just fills up the cup.
No, it energizes you. So promise me this will be the first of many interviews with Rotary Club 33. What I'd like to do is set up something and we can work with our friends at Scatina Daniels on this, great PR firm in town, to maybe every other month or so have you come in, bring in maybe another member, or even better, bring in a member and an organization that has benefited from what you folks have done. And let's try to do this consistently, at least once every quarter at minimum, maybe even more. Cannot talk enough about what's going on in Rotary Club 33.
We would love that. I already have a list in my head of who I can bring.
Consider it a done deal. Mia, pleasure meeting you. Kristen, as always, thank you so much for co-hosting. And my good friend Michael Brunker, you're a treasure to San Diego. Thank you for everything you have done and will continue to do. And it's always good seeing you, my good friend.
Always good seeing you, too.
You bet.
Thank you.
You bet. My pleasure. I'm Drew Schlosberg, and you've been listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. We are the nation's longest-running community podcast, now in our 18th year, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union for 6 decades, doing just phenomenal things for us folk living in San Diego County. We hope you enjoyed the show.
You've been listening to an episode of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego community. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
Cloudcast Media.